Daniel Price was a 32-year-old man living a simple life in the quiet suburbs of Ohio. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, and he didn't seem like the type of person to have enemies. He worked as a local auto mechanic, always came home on time, loved his family, and rarely traveled far from his town. His life was routine, predictable, and peaceful. But everything changed on the morning of June 4th, 2019. That morning, Daniel left his home around 7:30 a.m. His mother saw him walk out, holding his usual coffee in one hand and his lunch bag in the other. It was just another normal day, or so they thought. Daniel was supposed to arrive at his workplace by 8 a.m., but by 8:30, he hadn't shown up. His coworkers tried to call him. His phone rang twice and then went straight to voicemail. At first, nobody panicked. Maybe his car broke down. Maybe he stopped somewhere along the way. But as the hours passed, concern began to grow. By noon, his phone was completely switched off. His family reported him missing by the afternoon. When the police began their initial search, they quickly found something strange. Daniel's car was discovered parked in an isolated parking lot, far away from his usual route to work. It wasn't on the way. It wasn't a shortcut. It made no sense. The car was locked from the outside. His wallet, his keys, his phone charger, and his lunch were all still inside. There was no sign of struggle. No fingerprints except Daniel's. At first, police thought Daniel might have left on his own, maybe overwhelmed by something in his life. Maybe he had walked away to start over. But his family was sure Daniel wasn't that type of person. He was close to his family. He had plans for the weekend, and he had even talked about helping his sister move houses the next day. Nothing made sense. As police continued to dig, they found something deeply disturbing. Beneath the driver's seat of his car, wedged tightly into a corner, they found a folded piece of paper. It was a handwritten note. The note read, "They're watching me. I can't talk. I can't run. If I disappear, it wasn't me." It was Daniel's handwriting. His family confirmed it. The ink was fresh, but no other fingerprints were on the paper. The police now knew this wasn't just a simple missing person case. Someone else was involved. But who and why? Investigators pulled traffic camera footage to trace Daniel's last movements. What they found only raised more questions. Daniel's car was seen stopping at strange locations that morning. He wasn't following his usual route to work. He seemed to be driving in circles, visiting quiet, empty parking lots, abandoned gas stations, and industrial areas on the edge of town. Why would he go there? Who was he meeting? Things got even stranger when they searched Daniel's home computer. In the days before he vanished, Daniel had been visiting conspiracy websites. He had been reading about missing persons cases, local corruption, and unexplained disappearances in his own city. He had also been looking at police complaint records, trying to find information about certain officers. What had he discovered? Was he just curious? Or had he stumbled onto something dangerous? The police eventually found out that Daniel had been secretly meeting with someone. Several nights in the 2 weeks before he disappeared, Daniel was seen on. Police tried to track this man on nearby cameras, but there was a problem. The cameras showed the man arriving, but no footage showed him leaving. It was as if he simply vanished into thin air. That detail haunted the officers. Some thought it was a technical glitch. Others believed it was something more. They interviewed witnesses who had been in the park around those times. One man came forward and claimed he saw Daniel arguing with the hooded man 3 days before the disappearance. He said the man told Daniel something chilling. He told him, "You shouldn't have looked into this. You're already in." But this witness never showed up for his second interview. When police tried to contact him again, he had moved away, disconnected his phone, and could not be found. The investigation hit a dead end until 6 months later. Out of nowhere, Daniel's phone switched back on for exactly 18 seconds. The phone's GPS location pinged from a remote forest area, nearly 200 miles away from his hometown. Police rushed to the location immediately. They found nothing at first, but after hours of searching the dense woods, they found something that sent chills through the entire department. On the side of the muddy trail, they found a single hiking boot and a torn piece of a plaid shirt. Daniel's family confirmed that both items belonged to him. His phone was never found. The police organized a large search operation, but after weeks of combing the forest, no other trace of Daniel was found. The case grew cold. Strangely, the police department refused to release all the details to the public. In a brief interview, the police chief said something that made people question the whole case. He said, "There are parts of this case we are not allowed to talk about." Why? What was being hidden? The story could have ended there, but 1 year later, Daniel's brother received a package in the mail. There was no return address. Inside the box was an old disposable camera and a small handwritten note that read, "You were right to keep looking. Not all shadows are from the dark." The brother immediately developed the photos. The first few pictures showed blurry images of Daniel, sitting in what looked like a small, dimly lit room. The windows were covered with newspapers. Daniel looked thinner, tired, but alive. The final photo was terrifying. It showed the hooded man standing close to the camera, smiling. It was as if he had taken the photo himself right before sending the camera. The brother rushed to the police, but something unexplainable happened. Days later, the entire package disappeared from the evidence room. No one could explain who signed it out or where it went. The official record said the evidence was missing. Was Daniel still alive? Was he in hiding? Was he being held against his will? Had he discovered something so dangerous that it cost him his freedom? Or was this part of something much deeper that the police and the public were never allowed to understand? To this day, Daniel Price has never been found. The police won't answer any more questions about the case. His family still waits, still searches, and still hopes. But there are some questions that may never be answered. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how some people want it. To this day, Daniel Price has never been found. The police won't answer any more questions about the case. His family still waits, still searches, and still hopes. But there are some questions that may never be answered. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how some people want it.